He's a nice bison, isn't he? Let's talk about Jesse Puljujarvi today. Not because he is the best player on the Oilers, not because he is taking over the world, but because Jesse Puljujarvi is pretty much being what everybody in Edmonton wanted him to be 5 years ago. This is the redemption of Puljujarvi and how one man's patience in Ken Holland turned into what is seen as a very big gift to the current Oilers squad that is right now, at the time of recording this video, 5-1-0 on the year. Now, they played Philly yesterday, and Philly ended up beating them. This wasn't really a game where the Oilers should be too upset about, I believe. Or maybe not the Oilers themselves, but the Oilers fan base. I don't think you should be too upset about this one. This one wasn't really a game where it was you guys getting outplayed and McDavid and Draisaitl not showing up and Puljujarvi and Barrie not showing up. No, this game yesterday was not that. This was just Carter Hart being Carter Hart and actually making saves, and Mikko Koskinen admittedly letting in a few softies that probably should not have been let in, but still. We had McDavid and Draisaitl doing their thing. They look great. Evan Bouchard, we'll talk about him a little bit later. He has been looking fire as well. And you have that bison himself skating hard, causing havoc, licking his nostrils, and attempting to get some shots on goal. Jesse Puljujarvi, 4th overall pick by the Oilers at the 2016 NHL Entry Draft, was seen by many a few years ago as being potential trade bait. There was the entire thing going around saying how he wanted out of Edmonton. He had been up and down with Bakersfield and the Oilers in 2016-17, 17-18, 18-19, and he was frustrated with the way he was being developed. It got to a point where in 2019-20, before that season began, he was like, yeah, I want out. Trade me or else I'm going to go over to Europe. I'm not going to stick around here. I'm going to go over to my hometown, do my thing, show off that I can play pro hockey at a high level, and that's what he did. 53 points in 56 games played for Puljujarvi, playing for the Karpat hockey team in the Finnish Liga, and he looked up and away like one of the best players in that hockey league, an absolute monster in the making who could really control play. Despite the fact, though, he wasn't really all too productive in the NHL in the years beforehand. His career high was 20 points in 65 games in 2017-2018. Now, granted, he was only 19 years old in that season? And for most 19-year-olds, it's tough to play National Hockey League hockey. Now, I get it, Puljujarvi was a 4th overall pick. You would expect higher overall picks to have a little bit of an easier time transitioning into the NHL than players taken in the 7th round or undrafted signees and whatnot. But still, Puljujarvi just had a little bit of a slow start. The Oilers did not really trust him to go out there and be the bison he is today. And the year in Finland honestly did him a pretty good thing. It got his confidence up. And having all of this go down for Puljujarvi with the Karpat hockey team, it put us in a new position where, okay, does he still want out? Does he still want to trade? Is he going to come around to Edmonton next year? Ken Holland, who's the new guy in town, said that he doesn't want to trade Puljujarvi. He wants to be patient and he wants to keep this player in the organization. And that's what he did. He kept him around. In 2020-2021, Puljujarvi played 16 games for Karpat. He had 12 points, and then he came back over to Edmonton, 25 points, 55 games played. First game with the Oilers in, 2 years? Because the 2018-19 season was the last season he had spent with Edmonton. He's coming back, and he actually looks pretty reinvigorated. 15 goals, 10 assists, 25 total points in 55 games played. And a lot of Oilers fans are starting to notice, okay, he's actually looking a lot better now. Like, this is a guy who is getting a little bit more involved in the play. He is not afraid to show off the strengths that he has in his game, which are his size, which are his physicality, which are his shot, and his ability to find the net. And all of a sudden this season, hey, guess what? He's taken an even bigger step out there on the ice. 9 points in 6 games played. I get it, he's playing on Edmonton, and Edmonton is Edmonton. But it cannot be understated that Puljujarvi is part of this group with the Oilers that is just consistently finding ways to put up points. You saw him yesterday against the Flyers. He had a whole bunch of good scoring opportunities, but they just didn't go in, and he looked super frustrated. He was engaged mentally, with his head in the right place. He was engaged physically, trying to shove pucks in and being in the right place to get chances. And just leadership-wise, this is a guy that a lot of people in that locker room, McDavid, Draisaitl, etc., are just looking to absolutely love. You can see the chemistry that he had with Draisaitl in the media the other day. That was the best interview we had seen in a long time. And it wasn't even that good of an interview. If you're looking for the answers for the questions from the media, that doesn't really matter. Like, who cares? It's the vibes, you know? It's the colloquialism that added value to that interview. And that just made a whole bunch of people just absolutely appreciate the Puljujarvi that we have here today. He's going out there with 2 goals and 7 assists for 9 total points. He is starting to get that playmaking side of his game. Like, he is just in the right place in the right time. Sure, playing with McDavid helps out a lot, but it takes a certain type of player to be able to play with McDavid and Draisaitl, and Puljujarvi has been showing off that he is that guy. Isn't it kind of funny? Because back in 2016, this is the player you wanted him to be. You know, when Edmonton drafted 4th overall, everybody was saying, okay, no, they just won the lottery. Even though they didn't win a lottery, they won the lottery because Puljujarvi did not go 3rd overall to Columbus. It was Pierre-Luc Dubois instead who went to Columbus, making Puljujarvi drop all the way to Edmonton. And that was mind-blowing to everybody at the time because Jarmo Kekalainen is a Finnish GM. He had a chance to take a fantastic Finn who was so good at the World Juniors and who was just dominant at all aspects of the game at such a young age. And he passed up on Puljujarvi. So, the fact that Edmonton took him 4th overall in 2016 was seen as an absolute mind-boggling shock to everybody in the hockey world at that point. They had just won so many 1st overall picks, they had won McDavid the year before that, and now they take the guy that a lot of people thought should have gone 3rd overall and was a lock at 4th? This is crazy, dude. This is going to be the next Gretzky Curry right here. The Canadian center who defines the hockey league and that Finnish winger on his side. A lot of people kind of joked about that back in 2016, but it's kind of funny because it's what we're seeing right now. Now, I'm not going to compare Gretzky and McDavid and Curry and Puljujarvi. That's not what I want to do here. I'm not going to say that Puljujarvi is going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying that what we're seeing right now is the best we have seen out of Puljujarvi, and then some. Like, even when my Vancouver Canucks are playing the Oilers and I see Puljujarvi score a goal like he did at the first game of the season, I didn't care. I was like, okay, great. Puljujarvi, yeah. Look at his celebration. That's kind of funny. He is very happy, and I love to see that. Puljujarvi is an absolute gem of a hockey player. It is so great that the Oilers stuck it through, gave him that opportunity in 2020-2021, and just allowed him to play his game. Like, there are no more concerns anymore. This is what should have happened with the Rangers and Lias Andersson, for example. What should have happened with the Rangers and Vitaly Kravtsov, for example. Sticking it through and hoping for the best and giving your player the opportunity to show off that he's right, to show off that he has this talent and that he's not just being stuck up, instead of just burying him in the minors and believing that you're right, allowing him to do what it is that he feels is necessary, like go back over to Finland, allow him to play some hockey, and just stick your foot down and say, no, sorry, we're not trading you. Like, we still see value in you as a hockey player. We want to see that value out there on the ice. And guess what? They're seeing it now. So, for Jesse Puljujarvi, he has been an absolute delight to see. This is the redemption tour right here for Puljujarvi, and I am absolutely for it, 110%. Talk to me in the comments, what do you think about the Bison himself, Jesse Puljujarvi, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this with Josh Rolls 99, and bye.